Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I have the Voxpree Voxpro massage gun that we're going to be looking at. Now, I've done videos on the Mini, the Vox Mini, and then the M30 here, and then we're going to do this one, and then I'm actually going to do a video comparing all of them. But with this is their Pro version. I always like their boxes because they're very good quality, and I know that's a small thing just because you end up getting the carrying case, and I've mentioned this before, but I do like these cases here. So I'm going to unbox this real quick, show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll talk about the specs with this. So this is it right here. It's a solid build. It feels very solid in the hands with this. So you get 6 different attachments with this. So we have our bullet attachment, we have our 2 flat ones, and with our flat ones here you have your plastic and then you have your steel, and then we have our 2, well, you have your soft round dome for sensitive tissue, and then your round one here, and this is actually the one that I end up using the most. I like the steel with this because it glides along the skin really well, and along your clothes as well. It doesn't hang up on anything. And then we have our charger. So let's talk about the specs really quick though. They do have this on the box. I have some printouts as well, just because I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. But everything is lined out on the back of the box, which I like. So with this, 220 watts of instantaneous power. It's a 12 millimeter stroke distance. You'll find that with the M30 as well. In terms of what this feels like, very comparable to the Exo gun, which is or was the most powerful massage gun that I had used up until this point, and this one matches it, even with that 12 millimeter stroke distance compared to the Exo gun, which had a 16 millimeter one, so it went a little bit further. But with this one, it feels very comparable. It goes up to 3,200 percussions per minute. And then it's 35 to 45 decibels of noise, so obviously it's going to be quieter, and I've mentioned this before compared to when you look at like the jigsaw attachments or something like that where you can't even talk over those things. It's lightweight. It only weighs 2.2 pounds. We have 5 hours of battery life, and then a 10-minute smart timer, so it shuts down after 10 minutes so it doesn't just keep going and burn everything out. It takes 2 to 3 hours to charge fully, and then we have 6 speeds. The battery is a 2600 milliamp battery. So, and working voltage AC is 100 to 240 volts. So with this, one of the things that I was curious about is really what's the difference between the M30 and this. And the M30 has been my solid staple here at the house. This is an amazing massage gun. So outside of the fact that I can feel the weight difference, this is 1.76 pounds, this is a 2.2. I mean, it's there, you can feel it, but it's not a huge difference, right? And then when we look at the size difference here, this is going to be a little bit bigger. But I was like, what is the main difference between these two? And it boils down to really 3 different things. This has up to 3,300 percussions per minute, where this only goes up to 3,200. The other thing with this is this has the 2,600 milliamp battery, and this one here actually goes higher than that. I want to make sure I get this right with this, because this is a premium LG battery. This one doesn't have the LG battery. I'm curious why they went with the difference here. But with this one, it actually has a 3,400 milliamp battery. So this will actually operate up to 7 hours per charge versus the 5 with this. So better battery with this, but this one has more percussions per minute. And it also has a greater amount of, what do they call it, torque force that you can put behind this. I want to make sure I'm going to get that right with this. So yeah, this has a high torque motor with up to 80 pounds of force, where this only has 60 pounds. So the big thing here is the extra 100 percussions per minute, and then the higher amount of weight that you can put behind this, because my assumption is they're saying 80 pounds of force that you can really drive behind it, and you can feel it with this. I mean, this thing gets going. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. On the bottom, just to talk about a couple other things, on the bottom you'll find the charging port for the cable here. And then on the back of the gun here, this is where you're going to turn everything on, versus the M30 here, which is on the side. There's nothing on the back. So you'll hold down the button here, it'll click on. You see your battery life in the middle, and then on the sides here, you'll have the 6 different levels. So that's going to be level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll turn this one on. This one's level 5, level 6 here. So you're getting that extra level 2, obviously, because of that one's only 5. And then we'll hold it, and then it'll shut down. It has the same attachment, so that's not going to be any different with this. The carrying case, obviously, is going to be a little bit different because the shape of these is different. So this is a pretty standard case that you're going to see with a lot of these versus the M30 here, right? But overall, I've had this going on about 2 weeks now, and I really like this one for that extra power that you feel. So this is going to be the one that I keep at the gym. I don't have the Exo gun anymore just because I've mentioned this in other videos I've had. At this point, it's got to be like 9 or 10 of these things. And I don't need that many at the gym nor at my house. So I just end up kind of cycling through them. So this one replaced the Exo gun. It has the amount of power that I need. So for all my clients, it's the one that they get to use. And then I'm going to keep the M30 at my house. But in terms of feel, it feels really, really good. And the big thing here is these attachments. These metal tipped ones are by far my favorite because of how easy it glides along the body. Where I have some other ones, like the Recover Fun one has a rubber tip that I really like, but it's gonna get caught up in my clothes. So in terms of just gliding along the skin, this one right here is really nice. I can feel the difference in the power with this. Like I said, you definitely feel that notch up. Now, in terms of price with this though, this one's $199. This one's $169. The mini is $99. But a big plus for this, and I mentioned it with the Vox Mini, is the fact that these sell on Amazon. You can usually find discount codes, not all the time, so you got to kind of check back. So I've seen this where it's $20 off. So it's not $199, it's $179. So you can find discount codes for these on Amazon, which is awesome. Plus, if you order it from Amazon, you're going to get it in 2 days. Where some of the companies, it may take a week, and that's not a horrible thing. But if there's any type of return process, it's just easier through Amazon. So that's an upside for me. And the fact that you can actually pay with PayPal as well. I like to see those secure payment options. That way nobody's having any issues. And if you're like, hey, I never got my product, I don't want to mess with it, you can just contact PayPal or Amazon and be like, just nix it. It's going to be obviously a little bit of a process with that, but I just feel more secure with that and recommending a product that has that. So I'm extremely happy with this. I want to cover just the attachments real quick in a little bit more detail. So this rounded tip here, digging into tissue. This flat tip here is what I've noticed is just better for something obviously on the body that's going to be a little bit more flat. You don't want to run this obviously across the bone or anything like that, and that's with all of these. But with this one, if I find an area that's like my back, for instance, it works really, really well, or my biceps and my shoulders, it works good with that. If I'm going to get into an area that a little bit more rounded, the glutes, right? It's just a little bit more difficult to operate compared to this. So this is why this is just my overall, because it works well with all tissue. The plastic version of that same tip, we have this is more like a V, but usually they look like a U, but this one right here is really for along the spine, the cervical spine. Then we have the bullet right here, getting into tissue where you're going to need to put a little bit more force. And with this one, it has the more torque with it, the more force that you can put behind it. So something like this for, I think of like athletes and bodybuilders. Like, yeah, you can have somebody drive a lot behind this. that's the really cool thing with this, because usually I say, hey, let the gun do the work, but now they're with this one, it's like, yeah, you can put a little bit of force with this. This is actually intended for that, more so than the other ones. But usually with this, we're looking at certain tissue that obviously needs more force behind it. If you're going to put this on sensitive tissue, it's not going to work. For sensitive tissue, you want to use this little soft dome here, and that's for along the lats and things like that. So if you're getting along your serratus and your lat, like this works. Or I'll even use this along my head. And this feels really, really good, where the other ones, it's not going to work. And then you do get a carrying case with this for all your attachments. If you're not going to be basically bringing this whole case, just the gun and the attachments, you can just put those in there. And then inside of this, we have our little booklet here. Just our user manual. Really short, quick, to the point with this. I'm not seeing, though, any replacements for the rings here, which they shouldn't come off, but if they wear down, I wouldn't be surprised if you could just contact the company and say, hey, I need a replacement for these rings. And man, they're going to be hard to pop off anyways, or the rubberized fitting at the bottom. That's the other big one here. Now, most of them come with it, but I've had, like I said, the 9 or 10 guns. I have yet to have one that is actually worn down to the point where I've had to actually replace it. I had one gun that I sent back where it wasn't a right fit from the get-go. I actually put it into the gun and it literally shot out. So I had to return that one. But outside of that, I haven't had any problems with any of these. So with this, you do get a 1-year warranty. I'm sure that'll cover any of these things if you needed that. So that's actually going to be it for this video. One extra side note with this, though, because I have reviewed these, and I did mention reviewing the M30. That's me right there. I know it's going to be harder to see on the camera, but it says right here, this has become my daily driver, and that's true. This is the one I use at the house. I mentioned that. So you can actually find me here. I'll put a link for this. I'll put a link for the Amazon product listing for this. That way, just in case, you guys can actually check back for any discounts on that. And like I said, you get it in 2 days, which is awesome. So I'll have that in the description for this. And then last thing to cover, if you're like, why are you in like a different space than your gym? Just easier to shoot, and then I'll do the next video here too. But this is actually the setup for my tech videos that I do on my other YouTube channel. And then I do tech product reviews and video game stuff and all of that here. So you get to see kind of my home setup with this. The gym can be harder to set up things to actually record sometimes, and I actually have a buddy that's training out of there, and another chiropractor friend that's been coming in sometimes. So it just makes it a little bit harder. So some of the videos will be here every now and then. So the next video, I'm going to do the comparison with all 3 of these, and then with that, hopefully kind of help you guys decide which one best fits you. And then I want to do one more video where I want to actually compare the minis, the 3 minis that I have, to each other. And same thing, you guys can figure out which one actually works best for you. So that's going to be it for this video, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.